Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Amazon exclusive, the Infinity Saga Gladiator Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. That was a mouthful. So this is a deluxe release of the Gladiator Hulk Build-A-Figure by itself. It is a reissue. We get a couple of new things here. We get the Screaming Head Sculpt. I was going to show this one. I'm like, oh, this is the same one we got before. So we get the Screaming Head Sculpt there, which is pretty damn nice. And then we also get a fist because the Build-A-Figure just had two open holding hands, grip hands for his two weapons, which we get again. I will do a comparison with the original release, see if there's any difference in those weapons. I think there's going to be some paint deco changes and things like that on this figure. But for the most part, it's the same. The sculpt is the same. Again, just the additional head sculpt, the additional hand. Other than that, it's the exact same. The color and the paint, that's all that's different. But Amazon exclusive, should be in stock right now. Link in the video description below. It is an Amazon affiliate link. So, go ahead and check out the video description below. There is a little bit of a commission for me, so I appreciate the support, anytime you guys use those Amazon links, so thank you. But here on the side of the box, we just see the figure. We have a look at the figure in the front there. Here on the back of the package, we get a look at the figure and the accessories that he comes with. And then the side artwork of the Gladiator Hulk there from Thor Ragnarok. So interesting that we're getting some Infinity Saga figures again. Initially, that was the whole anniversary program for 2 or 3 years ago, however many years ago it was. But we seem to be getting more. So there's a rumor of a full Infinity Saga wave. We have seen the Iron Man Mark II from Iron Man. We have seen the Black Widow from Captain America the Winter Soldier. And then we have seen the Bruce Banner figure, which movie was the Bruce Banner from? Was it Avengers Endgame? I don't remember. I think it was Avengers Endgame. I'd have to go back and look at the panel and stuff. I want to say it was Avengers Endgame. Could have been Infinity War. I honestly don't remember. But that is supposedly going to be a wave from what we may or may not know of, heard, not unsure of, some information out there. I honestly don't know. So it'll be interesting. We're getting some Infinity Saga stuff. I didn't think we would, but hey, here we have it. Another Gladiator Hulk figure. Even though we have one from before that was perfectly good. Right? There's no real problems with this one, but, it's cool that we get another one. Sure, why not? I can't be mad at more figures, but in all honesty, this is one where I was scratching my head thinking like, did we need another Gladiator Hulk figure? And I was thinking, no, I don't know what the secondary market is going for. I don't know if it's like crazy trying to get this figure. But no, I didn't think it was necessary. And now that I have these two side by side, I want to say there's actually more paint apps on the older release than there are on the newer release. There's just different paint apps, or the real noticeable ones, but there are some differences in paint. I will go over each one of those differences as we go along. But first, I want to get in close so we can take a look at the new Screaming Head Sculpt, because again, that is really nice. So let's check it out. Okay, so look at that Hulk screaming face. That is definitely a nice addition. We do get the digital print on there, and that's looking pretty good. We get the war paint there on his face. It is very different from the other previous release war paint. I guess this would be technically the better comparison because these are the same head sculpts. But I want to show that Screaming Head Sculpt is very good. You see the teeth look good. The tongue looks very good at the top of his mouth. Just pop that off. The roof of his mouth is just green in color, but that looks pretty good. We get a little bit of gray hair there on the side, but we'll go ahead with the relaxed look for Hulk, and then the digital face print really makes a big difference when it comes to the head sculpts, I think. But looking at the two, see we get the added little bit of gray hair on the side, but then the war paint itself is very, very different, as you could see. Yes, very, 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 very different. It's not as heavy like it was on the previous release, and that actually goes for the same when it comes to the body as far as the war paint. So you could see, big differences in the size of the war paint there. But yeah, looking at the head sculpts, the digital face print is very different. We get a little bit of a brighter green going on, and the face print, you kind of get some. I don't know if it's purposely how they do it. I don't know if it's supposed to kind of look like a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow there on the chin, a little bit of facial hair. But it does look really good. So it really sets it apart between the two. But while we're here, and let me zoom out a little bit. One of the differences when I had talked about, you know, less paint apps, we actually had, oops, I didn't realize that came off actually. Maybe I did at the time. We actually had chest hair for the Hulk on this previous figure. This new one does not get any chest hair. And then this figure is a very strong, noticeable difference in greens between the different plastics. So the harder plastic of the torso is a brighter green than the green of the arm, which is a softer plastic. This green is awesome. This green, not so much. So unfortunately, the torso does not match the arms and the legs. And again, that just happens when you have two different types of plastics. They can't always get a full, complete color match, which sucks. And in this case, it's a little too noticeable for my liking. So that sucks. But when I was really talking about how the original release had more paint, and the reason why I bring that up, let me just clip this back on there, where I noticed that is going to be like in his skirt piece. So you could see the colors change between them. So like on the original release, we had this like copper-ish color, like this gunmetal type color, which looks really good. We just get that swapped out for this brown color here. I think the brown is actually a little bit more accurate, but you know, who's to say exactly how it was? You know, it's very fast moving in the movie, but you can see like that. It's almost like a goldish color, like brass color. It's just like this flat brown now. But if you look at the belt, there was silver there for the belt. It's just all that same molded rubber plastic color this time around. So that's where, you know, we get, you know, one less paint app as well. But, you know, there's paint where it needs to be, like there's little silver spots there. Actually, here in the strap, those are painted silver where those did not get painted at all before. But, you know, again, this had purple, silver, this other silver color, darker silver, and then this bronzish color. And here we just get brown with a little bit of silver and that purple. So again, slightly less paint. Here, the armor on the left arm is a little bit more copperish or bronzish. This almost looks like a faded gold, I guess, is the best way I could say it. So I like the way the new one looks. And then we get this bright-ass blue shoulder pad. This is accurate to the movie, whereas this one previously, before we had a couple of different colors, it just was not, you know, accurate completely to the movie. Here on the side, again, it was more of a silver color. We get more of that kind of that brass color going on there. So those are the differences between the two figures. Not a whole lot different. And again, you know, for the sake of being a little bit more movie accurate, that this is what we get. The shoulder pad is definitely a nice touch. But I think all the other armor pieces and everything like that, these all looked really good. But again, in terms of more accurate, I guess that's, you know, what we get here. But I think this actually looked better. But this does have the better head sculpts because of the digital print. The war paint, I like the war paint. It's a little bit more subtle, looks a little bit faded. Whereas here, that white was a little bit heavy. But we got the chest hair, so it's, I guess, you know, kind of give and take. You know, that kind of comes along with it. But the screaming head sculpt, I mean, that's pretty damn good. So we have that. So looking at the helmet, though, I want to make sure... Damn, did I mix up? I think I've already mixed up my helmets. I'll have to go back and figure out which one was which, because looking at the helmets, they're basically the same. One is not as shiny, and then the other one, the war paint, is a little bit different. I want to say this is the new one, this is the old one. I think so, because this white is a little bit thick, not thicker like width-wise, but a darker white, if that makes sense. Or it doesn't, it's not as faded. This has kind of a faded look to it, kind of similar to the war paint here. But the helmets are for the most part the same. So it just kind of goes to show you, like, I got the two already mixed up. Like, I was not keeping track of which one was which. So, damn. But I think I have it right, because this matches the gauntlet armor color. So I think that's right there. But not very noticeably different. So, you know, nothing to really worry about there, if that makes sense. Okay, so looking at the weapons, we have the two weapons here. So this is the original release. So you can see we kind of get all this rustiness up here at the top, and then the silver handle. The new one is just kind of all in the same kind of rustic look. It basically matches like the armor that he's wearing. So you have like this goldish brown. I don't know if it's like some kind of shading, some reddish brown paint that they add to it to kind of give it that look. But the whole thing is kind of that same color, as you could see. And then the same is going to go for the axe. Whereas the original release did have more silver there, whereas this new one is kind of all in this same color, just like the big hammer is there. One improvement I would say that they made is this handle was a much softer plastic, whereas this new one is very hard. Now, I don't know for sure if it's going to droop over time like this one did, but I think it's going to be better. I don't know how much better, but I do think it's going to be better because, again, there's not nearly as much give to that handle and this handle as these ones did. Because, I mean, look, you could just bend them around. So they did improve these, so that is another good thing. Okay, so Gladiator Hulk's articulation. So Hulk is on a ball peg and hinge. He can look up that much, he can look down that much, which is really good. You can get side to side, and you can actually get some decent pivot going on in there. You can do a full rotation, not really, because his chin actually gets in the way, so just a heads up on that. The arms you can get to go straight on out like so. There you can do a full rotation, not really on this one because that shoulder pad's there. You can kind of really work around it, but just a heads up on that. We do get an upper bicep swivel in there for both arms. Single jointed elbows, so you're actually going to get less than 90-degree bend. That's as much as you can get there on the left. On the right, that as much as you're going to get there. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. They have standard horizontal hinge on all of the hands. We have a diaphragm cut on this guy, so Hulk can tilt to his left. Not very much, unfortunately. He could tilt to his right. Not very much, unfortunately. Like you could see, I'm tilting it there, but then he just wants to retract back. Nothing, like, it just won't really stay, unfortunately. Let's see. You can do a swivel at that diaphragm. And he has a waist swivel in there. Why? It's not necessary to have both. Trying to lean him back, it's that much, so that's not a whole lot. And then coming forward is a little bit there, not a whole lot. Legs go out. Popped the leg off. It was a previous Build-A-Figure, so it is made to do that and not break. So legs only go out that far apart. He can kick forward. He can kick forward that far. The skirt piece really gets in the way. Leg doesn't really go back. Upper thigh cut in there where the leg connects. Double jointed pinned knee because it is a bit of an old figure at this point. No calf swivel or anything like that, but foot hinges down a little bit. Some hinge up, not a whole lot. Ankle pivot pegals at the bottom of the feet. So there is the articulation for the Hulk. It's not crazy, but you can get him into some decent poses. But yeah, these figures are a number of years apart. And in fact, this was one of the... I reviewed this original Gladiator Hulk Build-A-Figure at the time, and I remember it was like my most viewed video for the longest time. It had like 30,000 views, and I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. And I'm still lucky to have any video that would get 30,000 views. But at the time, it was like crazy or whatever it was. And I remember, I think it was my probably second or third wave. But it was like my most watched. It was the most popular at the time. So it was really, an exciting time for me back then. So it was pretty cool. So it's just nice to kind of see, all these years later, where my channel has gone to and stuff. And at the same time, crazy that we're getting the same figure re-released at this point. But it seems to be a really, really popular one. A lot of folks are really excited about it, really happy about it. So if you missed out on it, it's great for you, yes. But if you already have it, I don't know that you necessarily need a new one. I don't have the Marvel Select to compare it to. I hear that is a fantastic figure. But I do have some other MCU Hulk figures to be able to compare for you guys. Okay, we're going to take a walk down memory lane a little bit to look at some of our other Hulk figures. So here is a little-known Target exclusive Incredible Hulk Marvel Legends figure that looks nothing like Edward Norton. or his version of the Hulk, but it was technically a Hasbro Marvel Legends release exclusive to Target for that first Incredible Hulk movie. So moving on from then, we got the Mark Ruffalo Hulk in the first Avengers movie. This was a Walmart exclusive in the Avengers movie line. So we had that. And then the next up for Avengers Age of Ultron, we actually got 2 Hulk figures. So this was a release that was by itself in a Thanos Build-A-Figure, I think it was. Comic Thanos Build-A-Figure. So we have this Hulk, and then, and then we had in a 2-pack with the Hulkbuster, we had the Raging Hulk, I guess you would call it, where he was a little bit gray, towards the gray side, but still green. He was all like raging out and stuff, which is pretty crazy. And then, you know, I already showed it, the side-by-side comparison, so you could see, but then there's the Gladiator Hulk, again, for Thor Ragnarok. And then we got the Smart Hulk Build-A-Figure there, so you could see the evolution of Hulk figures in Marvel Legends form, where I would love to get this size of a Hulk in a regular body figure, if that makes sense. Like, take off all this armor, but give me that size of a Hulk figure. That's what I would love to have. Not that this one's a bad Hulk figure. I actually quite like it. But I would love to have, you know, a bulkier, you know, just a little bit wider, you know, figure, if that's something that we would be able to ever get to. You know, he's got big ass feet and stuff like that. That's what I would like. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I think that would be pretty cool. And as you can see, I guess he's actually shorter though, so that's kind of weird, right? With like a taller Hulk even. But I wonder if this head sculpt will work on this body. So let's see if that's something that we can do. Oh, yes you can. Look at that. That's kind of cool. You would just probably want to take off the war paint, but that works. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. It sits, well, let me get in for a closer look on that so you can see how it looks. Because the head actually sits a little bit high on the neck, unfortunately. And you can kind of see it from the side. So that's kind of tough. And then you could do this. That actually looks kind of weird. I don't know how that... I don't really like that. But let's take a closer look at that. Alright, so... here. So we do get some gap in there. But the greens match fairly well. So you could make that work if that's something that you wanted to do. And see, we got the chest here on this Hulk. But yeah, that could work. Again, you probably remove that war paint there. But, you know, I think that's something that could work there. I kind of like the way that looks. Hell, or even this one, like the relaxed face. I mean, it doesn't really scream Mark Ruffalo Hulk to me. But the greens match pretty well, and that, you know, that could give you another look. If you wanted to even go with like a comic Hulk look, I think that's something that would really work as well there. And of course, here we have the Thor Ragnarok figure. Here along with the Gladiator Hulk figure. I wish I still had the Mezco figures to show you guys some comparisons. The Mezco also did a Gladiator Hulk that was really, really nice. And it was my favorite Mezco figure, 112 collective figure for the Thor. Was my favorite of all the Mezco figures. But I just didn't need them in my collection and I sold them off. Sorry I can't give you guys a side-by-side comparison. That Mezco Hulk figure was a very expensive figure. It was also a very good figure. I don't know if it was worth the $125 or whatever it was, but it was a very, very good figure. But at $40 for this deluxe figure, I don't think you can go wrong. It's got enough to it. You know, it's got a decent amount of accessories. You know, we got the axe, we got the hammer, we got 2 head sculpts, we got a helmet, and then we have 1 extra hand. So why only 1 fist? But at least we got a fist, where we didn't get that before with the Build-A-Figure. We just had the 2 grip hands. So there's a decent amount of stuff here that I think people should be happy with. So again, link in the video description below if you're interested in putting an order in with Amazon. It is exclusive to Amazon, and a pretty good figure. Again, still one I don't think we needed, but is good to have, if that makes sense. But you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this Gladiator Hulk. Is it one that you're picking up? Or are you passing on it? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that join button to become a channel member and be a part of the MCU Collective. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for watching.